I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. It's time, people. Tales from the Cramps. I'm going to give a tip of the hat to Dizzy Dragon for coming up with that. This should be a thing. Tales of the Cramps. Listen, the reason I'm doing another one isn't just because of what Dizzy said. Listen to Grumpy Gill. Johnny, we need a third video talking about the third tolerance that you need to build. Don't know how you'll address that, but you'll talk about it. I suffer from, he suffers. Well, he posted it, so it's public. He suffers from hemorrhoids, and they tear and they bleed from time to time. Okay, there it is. Sorry. You know, I've got ghost reapers. I passed, ghost peppers, reapers, etc. And let me tell you, sometimes I walk off the bus at the next stop, please. Or I want off the bus at the next stop. Please and thank you. He says, listen, we're going to talk about that a little bit. The third tolerance, all right? And what you can maybe do about it. And I'm going to get into some funny ones, but I want to read this one first. Well, this was very ironic. This is from Ross Woodland. All right. Well, this was very, very ironic. Just recovered from a night of cramps that kept me awake most of the night. The only reason I knew it was calf cramps was because I watched your previous video. I'm a chili head, but in the last year or so, I've been very limited with any super hots. I've pretty much been stuck to hot sauce and wings. Yesterday, I got the silly idea to do a gusher with a very, very mild hot sauce that I love the flavor of, and then just used a baby bell pepper. 2 of them. It was delicious. Several hours later, I felt the cramps come on. I had no idea that what I had done had caused it, because they never had it before. This seemingly benign event, it barely burned my mouth. I realized I hadn't eaten anything prior, as I usually just drink that sauce right from the bottle with no problem. But with food, this had me thinking that something was seriously wrong with me. The cramps finally subsided in the morning, and I was able to finally sleep. Completely wrecked for my night and morning. The look on my wife's face when I figured out it was the peppers on an empty stomach. Thank you for all you do, Johnny. And for the record, I've eaten reapers and ghost peppers without incident. This was so wild to me, and it gave me a newfound respect for prepping before eating anything spicy. So Ross Woodland, I feel you, brother. And then this is a letter, and I'm going to read some funny things, and then we're going to talk about what you can do. All right. So, but here, this is says, Brother Scoville. My story simply begins where you stated in a video several seasons ago, when pain comes for you, and one day it will. When pain comes for me, and one day it will, I want to be ready for it. Well, I started out on that on heat level of habanero as far as hot sauce is concerned. I've eaten a handful of whole habaneros and not at all enjoyed any of it. For me, the calf cramps come in the form of several trips to the toilet, bent over, birthing string beans of searing pain. However, there was great light at the tunnel's end in the form of healing. Listen to this. I've dealt with IBS and heartburn most of my life. In the last few years of riding on the bus with my favorite driver and closely followed his advice, I put IBS and heartburn to bed, slowly building my tolerance to a comfortable level in eating capsaicin daily. I no longer suffer from any heartburn or any irritable bowel syndrome. I've noted all things positive to my overall health being from simply eating elevated levels of capsaicin. A big shout out to Harvest 912, Uncle Bull Cow, and Blazing Foods for providing high quality capsaicin products that are now a daily part of my diet regimen and will be for the rest of my life. God bless Chase the Heat for all the awesome reviews and the advice for better health via capsaicin. I hope you will expound on this topic more, Johnny. You're helping countless numbers of people. Eric Marks. How about that? So anybody who's, I was talking about this with somebody when it was. I think everybody who says they gave me an ulcer, they didn't have an ulcer. They got cap cramps. I used to think that when they said Peppers gave me an ulcer, I used to be under the impression that they had an ulcer and Peppers just reminded them of that, diagnosed it for them. I don't even think that's it. I think most people that say they have an ulcer have never been diagnosed with it. I'm sure there are tons that have been, but I know people that say they have ulcers that have never been to a doctor. And I'll bet you a good percentage of those people who think they have an ulcer got cap cramps. I'll bet you anything. Just a thought. Just a thought, people. But we're going to talk. Thank you for those first few. We're going to tell you a few more stories from the cramps. And we're going to go right to Grumpy Gil. All right? Since he's the one who asked for this. I got my first calf cramps a few years ago. I had no idea what was happening to me. I ate a burger with a habanero. I thought I was going to die. I was up all night tossing and curled up in a ball. I thought I was having a bad reaction, so I gave up my love for spicy food for years. Until I found your channel with some education on peppers, and I came to learn what I went through was indeed just bad cap cramps. Now I'm on the bus and consuming it wisely. Thank you. All right, now for some hilarity. This is an important one. These aren't just funny. These are all mostly educational ones. This is from QAYWSX 583. As someone who's very skinny, all right, and has a super fast metabolism, eating something beforehand sometimes doesn't do the trick if it's too little or if it's too far apart from the pepper hot sauce you ingest. Okay? Example, I had a banana, a bit of soup, some bread, ate two peppers, an hour and some change later. Close to 2 hours, she said. They said. Thinking that I'd be fine, because I'd eaten. My body must have digested it already or something, because the cramps hit me really bad. Probably not as bad as if I'd eaten on a completely empty stomach, but it was bad. Just a little heads up for skinny people like myself. There you go. So if you're somebody who is, I'm not a thin person, so somebody who is, I'm not overweight, but somebody, if you're very thin, very slim, keep that in mind. That's an important thing. If you have a very fast metabolism, make sure you don't allow too much time to pass between the time you prep and the time you eat. All right, here's another one. This is from Eric Golden, 4600. One time I ate an entire spoonful of Da Bomb beyond insanity. You're insane. I laid outside in my backyard writhing in pain for an hour and a half. I'm sweating bullets and it gave me temporary sores in my mouth. I filmed it, but unfortunately lost the file. It was absolutely brutal. I never want to return there again. Cap cramps are real. I think there are some. I wonder. I'd like to see if you're watching this and you've never experienced cap cramps, but you're hearing the stories. They all sound kind of familiar. They all say something about 911, thinking they were dying. To tell me your thoughts on that from somebody who's never experienced it before that watches. This is from. Hang on. This is from Matthew Gugino, 5488. Thank you for these videos. I've always loved spicy, but my last cramp at work scared the hell out of me. I put too much hot sauce on my sandwich, and I only ate cottage cheese 4 hours prior. I was down for the count for 3 hours on and off. For 3 hours on and off. I've been there, honestly. My job is in management, so I had lots of employees needing help, and I wasn't needed, and I was needed to talk to guests, and it wasn't happening. I'll take all the tips you have. You know what? There's watch in the last 3 days, I've done videos about how to prevent cap cramp. How to prep properly. It's all about prepping properly, Matthew. For real, you need to prep and be careful of that. Also, timing of things. Like if you're gonna go in for a day of work and you're in management, you may want to just be careful about when you choose to do that. But please check out. And by the way, they're at the top of every video. There's a couple of little things you can tap on. One, lately I've been doing my 26 worst, hardest, most painful challenges. And the other one on top is always pepperology. And pepperology has a ton of stuff about exactly what we're talking about. I've been saying it for years. The problem is, with 6,000 videos, people that just found the channel this year aren't going to go back 5 years to look at about calf cramps. So I'm doing this on a regular basis to make sure you hear about it because it's important. Prepping. If it's not for a contest, it's better to over prep than under prep. All right. If it's a contest, for me, I'd rather under prep because I need to leave the room, the space in my stomach for peppers. If I'm specifically talking about peppers, but you're always going to be a little better if you over prep than under prep. All right. This is from Mr. Wolf. 89. I've got to say the worst cramps I've had was from the Hell Tart. Okay, I bossed that Pop-Tart down like a champ. I believed it was about 2 minutes or so after it came right back up, and I was fine for about 20 minutes after it made its northern exit. Then the cramps started. It came in waves, almost as it happened each time. It made me each time it made a turn in my intestine. He feels the same way I do. Cramped for 20 minutes, and then it was relieved for 20 minutes. And this continued for 10 hours. I was begging God to make it stop. I pictured him looking down at me saying, "Idiot, you did it to yourself." I've been there, Mr. Wolf. We've all been there. In those moments, and it was really funny. I screenshotted a whole bunch of them. All the comments from this video will be in the next video. All right. So if you've left something in a previous video that I haven't read and you want it read in the next one, put it in this one because I'm gonna just go pull comments from this video. But some people are saying that moving around made it worse. It's different for everybody, what I'm learning by reading your comments. Some people laying still is better. Some people moving is better. When my cramps aren't bad, moving around helps. If they're really bad, it doesn't. But what I think is important is you got to figure out what is going to work for you. This is from Pope Hill Sky 9862. I had cramps at work today. I thought I ate enough to keep them at bay, but alas, I did not. I ate half a Trinidad Scorpion orange after a bagel and some corn chips. After about 10 or 15 minutes, it started to get uncomfortable. It got to the point where I almost puked, but I quickly ate a banana with some water, and that gave me almost instant relief. Bananas are good for prepping, and they're good for after. Sometimes I have found that sometimes if I'm cramping, eating something will help. Other times I just can't think. It's not something I can even bring myself to do. So I think in moments when you feel like you can eat something, it's like the wisdom of the body. My Italian grandmother used to say that. If you're craving something, probably eat it. Your body usually needs it. So if you're kind of feeling like you could eat something else while you're cramping, it may help. Give it a shot. This is an interesting one. And this is why it's important to listen really carefully. And this isn't their fault, but this is ZZ3353. Props to anybody that can overcome calf cramps. I cannot. I made it to super hots for the mouth part, easy, and some challenges, but I'm out on stomach pains. It's just too much. I get it. I really do get it. I've said before, I can't do it anymore. I yelled through. Do you want to hear something funny? The first month of the channel, I chugged a bottle of. Everybody knows plutonium 9. It's the 9 million extract. It's a nightmare. The hardest, most painful challenges I've ever done are plutonium. They're brutal. They are so bad. However, there's a 6 million Scoville version called Mark of the Beast. And I want to tell you something. I chugged that one as well and gargled it. And I was screaming through the bathroom wall, I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. It's not, I'm done. I said that. That was almost 8 years ago. Sasquatch Adventure says, I do it. It stopped me at Ghost. We all have, and there's no shame. Here's the other thing that's really important. There's no shame. It isn't a contest. The goal, see, I don't want you to feel like you have to eat full pods. You know what I mean? I don't want you got to be comfortable in your own journey. If you get to the point where you eat ghost pepper and you love them, but you eat the next hottest thing above, pick your next hot one, and you eat it, and that's too much for you. There's no shame in that at all. There's no shame if you stop at habanero. There's no shame if you stop at jalapeno. As long as you're passionate about your peppers, it's cool, But I don't want people to think they have to try to outdo somebody. You know what I mean? I never try to do. I try to outdo me. That's what I'm trying to outdo, for real. Today I had cramps today. If you didn't see the video today, what did I eat today? 7 or yesterday? No, I ate it today. Filming this, you're seeing it on a different day. I ate it today. It was 9 piglets, little warthogs, and I cramped for a while. So I'm filming this. You'll see it in a day or so. All right, this is from the Outlaw GT 3045. I ate Terra peanuts, the tube of Terra peanuts. They made me puke and gave me abdominal cramps for like an hour. I almost called 911. I was stuck on the floor in the fetal position, sweating bullets. This is a great one from my friend Dean from Conjured Vapors. About 2 years ago, I did a Facebook Live where I invited people on to eat a pepper with me. Each person that came in got to choose what pepper I ate next. Think about that. 14 super hots later, sometime close to the chocolate, someone chose a chocolate bootla for him. And it went down fine. The next came in, and he had me eat a chocolate primatale. And he had not eaten anything for at least 2 hours prior. Dean, bro. I had to leave leave the live stream as the cap cramps came on severe. I grabbed onto the bathroom vanity for the next 1.5 hours, rocking back and forth as 16 waves of cramps hit me like a ton of bricks. I was finally able to purge after the hour and a half after they lessened, but it lasted for another 2 hours. Carbs and butter work well for me now. And that's a man who's a savage. If you've never seen Dean eat peppers, guy scares me. I wouldn't want to be in a contest with him. For real. We're going to do a few more. Then I'm going to talk about how to fix the next day. Okay? I've been avoiding it because it's a delicate subject. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Brian Dunkins says, Johnny, this is my best cap. By the way, it's Brian Duncan 8276. Johnny, this is my best cap cramp story. My neighbor said, try these Pocky Ghost Pepper chips. I did, and I thought they were amazing. He said, that's not hot to you? I'll go buy you this one chip challenge. If you do it. So he said, I absolutely will. I didn't know at the time you aren't supposed to eat something that hot on an empty stomach. After 5 minutes, my mouth was fine, but for the next 45 minutes, I was curled up in a ball on my bed, gripping the mattress. Brian, I've been there, bro. I gotta do one more, and we'll continue doing these if you guys want more. Just let me know what you want to hear. This is from the Next Lennon. I love Next Lennon, just so you guys know. 8411. My first experience with cap cramps was the OG, the one chip challenge, the original. And all I had in my belly was a Miller Lite, a big mistake. For a half hour, I thought I was dying. I was rolling around the floor on the living room floor in the fetal position. My wife wanted to call 911. But as I was cramping, I calmed her down and told her to let me suffer and it'll go away. Wonder why I love him? That's why. Okay, I'm going to stop there. We're going to talk a little bit about what to do and how to deal with it. So here's what I'm asking. If you've left a comment and I have not gotten to it yet, a cramp comment, please let me know and I'll get to it. And we'll do more of these. And we'll just kind of see them as training is really what they are. I saw a funny comment on one of my videos where I was eating a pod, and pardon my language, but here's what it said. Fruity my butt. But they said my arse. Fruity my arse, they said. Like, here's the thing. These are very, very fruity peppers. All of them. These 3 are here. If you have a tolerance. If you don't have a tolerance, this is just pain and no flavor. Your brain can't do two things like that at once. Your brain can't interpret flavor when you're in agony. So we're going to talk about the Oval Office the next day. Here's the thing that You know how many times that stopped people? That I'm done. Cramps are one thing, but the next day, they're like, I can't believe it. I was sick last night. Then when you go to the bathroom, it's worse. Grumpy Gills, when we started this, first of all, I can't imagine suffering from hemorrhoids and eating peppers. It would be, one thing I can tell you is this. I know people who use wet naps, all right, in place of toilet tissue. Okay, so that's something you can do. It can provide some sort of soothing if you're burning. But the truth of it is, and this is like, I'm looking at you one-on-one, forget the fact that there's 145,000 of us, I'm looking at you. I'm sorry to bring you the bad news. There's not a whole lot you can do about that in the moment to make it any better. You're gonna get through it, and that's it. But what I can tell you is that the higher you bring up your tolerance, the less that'll happen to you. It's always going to happen to you with the next hottest thing, but it won't happen to you with things you're already used to. Do you follow me? What I mean by that is, let's say that you start with jalapeno. You get to the point where you're eating like half a jalapeno. And one day you go like, this is it, I'm going to eat the whole one today. And you eat the entire jalapeno. The next day, it burns you when you go to the bathroom. If you get back on the jalapeno regimen and you eat half a jalapeno every day for like a week or so, you'll be fine with it. Then you'll get to the point where you can eat a whole jalapeno and it won't burn you. Then what you do is you go from there to a hotter pepper. Like I always go from there to habanero just because it's the most readily available in stores where I'm at. No matter what grocery store you go to, you're going to find usually in the fruit area, the produce, you're going to find jalapenos and habaneros. Sometimes serranos and fresnos and a few others. But usually jalapenos and habaneros are there. So I would go to habanero next. You get a slice of a habanero. If you ate a whole one, it's going to give you a bad time in the bathroom. But if you go slowly and you build it slowly, it won't. You'll get to a point where eating habaneros don't hurt you the next day. All right? But if you were to jump to a ghost pepper, it would. So each time you're going to climb to a higher level, it's going to take you a little bit of time, or you're going to suffer. You can get there quick, but you're going to suffer in the bathroom the next day, or you can take your time and build slowly and not suffer. We heard from Eric, I think it was Eric, Bubba Bob is his name on YouTube. He had IBS and all kinds of stomach problems, and because he's eating capsaicin every day, he has no more heartburn, no more stomach issues. Anytime when somebody says to you they cause ulcers, that's misinformation. Correct them nicely, but tell them to stop spreading that. It's not true. Capsaicin does not cause ulcers. If anything, they'll help them. They're proven to reduce stomach acid. Okay? They don't cause ulcers. They'll diagnose one in a hurry, but they won't cause any. So it's hard for me because it happens to me at events. Because I talk to more people at an event than I'll talk to in 6 months if I'm not at an event. You know what I mean? I'll talk to 1,000 people at an event. That only happens at events. But every time I'm behind a booth, someone will say, oh, I used to eat that, but it gave me ulcers, gave me stomach problems. No, they didn't. They may have diagnosed them, but they didn't cause them. So now let's talk a little bit more. So really the best thing to help what's going to happen to you, heard somebody say once, decisions that we make today put us on a path tomorrow. And that path tomorrow has a foreseeable outcome. If you eat super hot peppers on an empty stomach, that decision you made today is putting you on a path. That's going to have we know what the outcome is going to be. So I'm bringing that up. Let's think when we do things. Let's be smart and make sure we prep carefully. You know what? I raised boa constrictors and bred exotic color phased, really interesting boa constrictors for a long time. Every time I got bit, I've been bit by boas so many times, you wouldn't believe it. Every time I got bit by a boa, it was my fault. I did something wrong. I didn't wash my hands clean enough. I did something stupid. That's it. I think as chili heads, for the most part, if we get hurt, we own it. We did something we shouldn't have. We ate something on an empty stomach. We ate something we weren't ready for. Now, admittedly, All right, to get to the next level, you've got to push yourself a little bit. You can do it incrementally, make the increments this big, and do it in such a way that really isn't, that it's not going to hurt you. You know, you can do it that way. If you guys remember College Boy from the David and Goliath series, he worked for Blazing Foods for a while, and he had no tolerance at all. Didn't eat hot stuff. The first pepper he ever ate was a Reaper, and it's on the video. Go to the playlist and look for David and Goliath. Look for the first one. It's one of the funniest things in the world. But if you want to see, the reason we call it David and Goliath, it was David, but people get bored. They watch me eat peppers, and it's like I make them sound delicious. They are, and they do taste fruity. But if you're not new to it, you know. So we did the David and Goliath to show you the difference between somebody who's a seasoned, someone who's a chiliad, someone who's not quite there yet. He built his tolerance so fast, but the young man earned it. I can't tell you how many times I watched him go through terrible cramps. Now I watched him burn. I saw the first tolerance, burning his mouth. I saw him get cramps. I'm never with him to watch the third part. I wouldn't want to be with him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, you earn it. Okay. So what we can do is education. The more we educate ourselves, the more we can prevent those bad things from happening. Since I've started this channel, I was thinking about the other day, there's really only been 2 times that I can specifically remember that the next day in the bathroom was a nightmare for me. Twice. And one of them was, I'll tell you, it was the I Am Sober video. I drank a whole vial of plutonium 9 million extract, but the whole bottle. It comes in a paste. It's really thick. So I boiled water and let it sit in the hot water. Now get the water in the microwave to the boiling point again, and then put it back in there until it was really liquidy and warm. So it was like hot extract. It was a glorious challenge. Anyway, the next day, and I'm telling you the truth, we always talk about the endorphin dump. That when you eat a bunch of peppers, you get an endorphin dump. Your body goes into stress, it starts to panic. It's going through some terrible, traumatic stuff, and what it does is it floods your bodies with endorphins to try to offset the pain, right? That's called an endorphin dump. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not a comedian, but this is how it is. The day after that I Am Sober video, I went into the bathroom and got an endorphin dump. I went to the bathroom and it hurt enough that I got an endorphin rush from going to the bathroom. I'm telling you the truth. The act of going to the bathroom probably took 5 minutes. I was in there for 20 just trying to recover. I'm just being serious with you. It's a delicate thing. I don't really talk about this part often because I just don't. But it was asked, and if one person's asking, wondering, there's a lot of people wondering. Now, how many videos have I made? 6,020? 2 a day, every day for almost 8 years. I can only remember 2 times where the next day was really bad. That's the truth. Okay? That's the truth. So the way I got there, you watch every day, every single day. I eat something hot every single day. So you can do it. You just got education, knowing your limits. Okay? If somebody presents you a pepper and you say, gosh, it looks hot, what is it? And they say, I don't know, you might not want to eat it. If it's really bumpy, it's got a tail on it, it's probably going to be hot. So, don't eat things you don't like. You wouldn't swallow a pill in college if they didn't tell you what it was. And, drugs are bad. You shouldn't be doing them, but you wouldn't want to eat a pepper that you don't know what it is either. So be careful, because we're getting to the point now with peppers that if you don't know what you're doing, if you're somebody who's like a kid, would ever eat something like some of the really hot peppers that are out now, not knowing, it would be traumatic. It's not going to kill anybody unless they have an allergy to capsaicin, but it would be so traumatic for that person. It really, really would be. So education, knowing your limits, being smart, and once you're in the bathroom, there's not much you can do. There really isn't. Wet naps. I know a lot of people who use them. Wet naps. And I know people who keep their wet naps in the refrigerator. I'm telling you the truth. So in the moment, there's no trick I can tell you that when you're in the bathroom what to do to make it better. There is no bathroom trick. The best trick is keep your tolerance up. When your tolerance is high, those things aren't an issue. it's when you shoot past for the next heat level that the stomach issue is going to be, like cramps may be a problem. The next day may be a problem. That's why once you build a tolerance, it's good to keep it up. I've done it for a long time. And my tolerance goes down a little bit every year in the off season. But what you'll find is this, even if I guarantee you, if I took a year off from eating peppers, a year of eating anything hot, and I came back, I probably have a higher tolerance than most people do. I think I don't know. I think maybe I'm just like that. I'm not sure. I know this, I can't take a day off, let alone a year off. I can't even imagine that. So if you have any more questions you want me to talk about, if you want another one of these videos, let me know. I'm not going to do one every day. We'll do maybe like 1 or 2 a week if you guys are interested in it. If you are, let me know in the comments on this video, and I'll pull comments from this video to put in the next one, along with any questions you might have. These are really great for new chili heads because, a lot of times, the dumb question is the question that you don't ask. If you think to yourself, I'm not going to ask that because everybody knows the answer to that one. If you're thinking it, boy, everybody else is too. So if you have a question, feel free to ask it, and I'll be happy to answer it. If you have any funny stories you want to submit for the next one and have me read it in the next video, leave it in the comments for this one, all right? So if you have a great comment from a previous video I didn't read, put it in this one, and I might pick it on the next one, all right? In the description box, you're going to see a link for all the normal stuff. Right here, you're going to see my son, Johnny Scoville Jr. and the lifeboat. Up on top, the 26 worst challenges, most painful challenges I've ever done, and pepperology, where you're going to learn tons of stuff about new stuff for new chili heads. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this was Chase the Heat.